geometry lesson, our learning target is to find the surface area of a cylinder, cone, and sphere, to find the volume of a cylinder, cone, and sphere, and then to apply those concepts of density based on the volume. Here's our cylinder. A cylinder we can relate to as a prism. So a cylinder is a lot like a prism, and how we find the surface area of our prism is the perimeter times the height plus 2 times the area of our base. So a prism, the perimeter is, our surface area is perimeter times the height plus 2 times the area of our base. Well, here, if you think about it, our perimeter of our base here is a circle, so our perimeter is 2 pi r, h for the height, plus how we find the area of a circle is pi r squared. So the surface area when we have a cylinder is 2 pi rh plus 2 pi r squared. Volume, it's also like a prism, so we take the area of the base times the height. Well, our area of the base is pi r squared, so we take pi r squared times our height h. In this case, the radius would be f and the height would be g. A cone. A cone is a lot like a pyramid, so we want to think of these along the same terms. So for a pyramid, the surface area is 1/2 perimeter times slant height plus the area of the base. Well, here our perimeter is 2 pi r, so 1/2 times 2 pi r times the slant height plus the area of the base, pi r squared. 1/2 times 2 is just 1, so our formula for surface area of a cone is pi r times the slant height L plus pi r squared. The slant height would be the height from the vertex to any point along the edge of the circle for your base, so that would be your slant height. Volume is going to be a lot like the volume of a pyramid, which is 1/3 area of the base times the height. So here 1/3 area of the base is pi r squared times the height of h. Okay, we also are going to talk about spheres. A sphere, the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. That's a formula I'm just going to give to you. Okay, we're not going to spend the time trying to derive it. That is just the formula. And the volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. And once again, that's a formula I'm just going to give to you. So now our next shape is a hemisphere, so it's half of a sphere. So if we think about the surface area of this, well, first off, we would need half of the surface area of our sphere. But then we would also need to add on the surface area of our flat circle right here. So we'd have to add on a pi r squared. So half of 4 is 2, so we'd have 2 pi r squared. But then we have to add on our circle, so our pi r squared. So the surface area for our hemisphere, 2 pi r squared plus pi r squared is 3 pi r squared. Volume of this, if you think about the volume of a hemisphere, it should be half of the volume of the sphere. So the volume of this sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So we want to take half of that. Well, the 4 and the 2 simplify down to 1 and 2. So the volume of a hemisphere would be 2/3 pi r cubed. So those are all the formulas. So now we're going to use those formulas and apply. So for this first one, we're going to find the surface area and the volume of the cylinder. I'm going to tell you G here is 15 and F is 7. And this is just a matter of plugging it into the formula correctly. So the surface area of the cylinder is 2 pi rh plus 2 pi r squared. So our radius here would be our f. So we have 2 pi, f is 7. Our height would be our g. G is 15 plus 2 pi, our radius is 7. And then it's just a matter of plugging this into your calculator. Actually use the pi button for pi. Okay, so take 2 times pi times 7 times 15 and then add on 2 times pi times 7 squared, and we should get a surface area here of 967.6 units squared. Okay. Volume, we just need to follow the volume formula of a cylinder is pi r squared h. So pi, our r, we already determined is 7, so 7 squared, and our height is 15. So you just need to take pi times 7 squared times 15, and you get the volume. So here the volume is 2,309.1 units cubed. Okay, cone. Same idea for the cone. We're just going to have to identify what we know and then plug it in accordingly. So here for the cone, I'm going to tell you that A is 20 centimeters and B is 25 centimeters. So the surface area for a cone is pi r L, L for the slant height, plus pi r squared. We do not know our slant height, so that's what we need to find. So here's our slant height, and we can draw this right triangle in. Well, B here is 25, so the height of that is 25. The total distance for A is 20, so that side would have to be 10. So to find the slant height, we can just do the Pythagorean theorem. So 10 squared plus 25 squared is our slant height squared. So 10 squared is 100. 25 squared is 625. So when we take 100 plus 625, we have 725. And then when we take the square root of it, we get a slant height of 26.925, and so on. So we're going to use that and plug that into our formula. So the surface area is pi times our radius of 10, which we've already found right here, times our slant height of 26.925, and so on, plus pi times 10 squared, our r squared. Now, if you leave your slant height in your calculator, that works out really well. And then when you plug this all in, you should get a surface area of 1,160.1 centimeters squared. All right, and then our formula for the volume of a cone is just 1/3 pi r squared h. So we have 1/3 times pi. Our radius is 10, so 10 squared times our height here is 25. So when we take 1/3 times pi times 10 squared times 25, we end up getting a volume of 2,618.0 centimeters cubed. Okay, last but not least, we'll do surface area and volume of a sphere and a hemisphere. So this time, for this sphere, I'm going to tell you that y is equal to 18 inches. So the surface area for a sphere is 4 pi r squared. So y is the diameter, so that means the radius would be 9. So we just have to take 4 pi times 9 squared. So when we do that, we end up getting a surface area of 1,017.9 inches squared. Volume formula is 4/3 pi r cubed. So 4/3 times pi times 9 cubed. So when we figure out that, we end up getting a volume of 3,053.6 inches cubed. Now right here, some of you may not know where the cubed button is on your calculator. You have two options. Most of you are going to be looking for that caret top button. That caret top button will raise it to the 3rd power. So 9 caret top 3 will give you 9 cubed, and to test it out, you should get 729. Others of you will have a y to the x button. So you would type in your 9, the y to the x button, and 3, and you should get out 729. So if you just want to check to make sure that you actually are using your calculator correctly, that would be a good idea. All right, and then last but not least, surface area and volume of this hemisphere. And this time I'm going to tell you x here is 5 yards. So surface area of a hemisphere, we have the formula of 3 pi r squared. So we'll take 3 times pi times 5 squared because x is already our radius. So when we take 3 times pi times 5 squared, we end up getting a surface area of 235.6 yards squared. And then the volume formula is 2/3 pi r cubed. So 2/3 times pi times 5 cubed. So when we take 2/3 times pi times 5 cubed, we end up getting a volume of 261.8 yards cubed. All right, and once again, you would have to use the correct button to cube these values on your calculator. So that is surface area and volume of cylinders, cones, spheres, and hemispheres.